All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the broadcast here. Game number 2 coming at you. Summit 7 European qualifiers. We got Mouse Sports versus NiP. NiP up 1-0 here in this best-of-3 anti-mage in the hands of Era, and just overall a great team effort by them taking game number 1. So Mouse Sports on the verge. This is an elimination match once again here in some Group A action. You lose this, you're done. You win this, you stay alive at the very least. So looking forward to seeing which team moves on here. In this GSL format, I'm Bricky CBK, joined by Tsunami once again. Tsunami, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm glad that NiP was able to sufficiently recover from what must have been an irritating loss, to say the least. But now, on the other hand, I'm starting to fear for Mouse Sports. There's not very much data to go off of, but you and I saw another series a few days ago when they had gone up against Pro Dota Gaming and got 2-0'd. And, you know, Pro Dota is proving to be a good team, as they just beat NiP. In fact, they might be the kings of this region, but for what it's worth, Mouse Sports have not really been showing very many signs of life recently. And it's not really easy to pinpoint an issue. Like, a lot of teams, you can kind of say, like, oh, okay, well, their drafts are repeatedly bad, or their late-game decision-making is bad, or, you know, this one player is really messing everything up. But on Mouse Sports, like, I can't pinpoint anything. It's just like they can't seem to win for various reasons, and I imagine it must be very frustrating for Mouse Sports fans to see this.
There's a couple of things I think you can kind of look at. Is that one is that, of course, their success came at the Boston Major. Like, that was their high point, right? That's where everyone really found out about that. Then Ad Phenom, and now Mouse Sports, as they're known by. They had a crazy run in that event, but then, you know, after that, 7.0 came out. And I think you could also argue that just overall competition, I mean, we're sitting here talking about a team like Pro Dota, a team that these players, most of these players on this team we never even really heard of in these until a month ago or so, they're now becoming one of the better teams in this region, as you stress. So I think the overall competition's definitely getting better. And, you know, Mouse Sports almost has this pressure now, you could argue. I kind of wonder if that's also taken effect where, you know, people expect this high performance out of them because of the run that they had in the Boston Major, when frankly, you know, maybe we shouldn't, because a mix of just great competition overall. But maybe that was, I don't want to say a fluke by any means, but, you know, that was just kind of like things just connected for whatever reason with the hype and everything. But, I mean, overall, they are still a good team, but, yeah, they are having struggles against the top-tier competition. So definitely something that they're trying to, you know, fine-tune as we get into more and more of these events, and, of course, the TI7 qualifiers eventually coming
because qualifiers especially, seeing as how they've been kind of getting free rides ever since Boston, but now I'm sure tournament organizers and hell Valve moving forward, you have to take a hard look at this team based off of recent results, because even Kiev, like, the group stage was meh, and then main stage also meh. So at a certain point, you need to reevaluate the team as a whole and can't really rely on past performances. And so even though it's just like, it's just group stage for the Summit 7, which that's the point that the tournament, or that the tournament scene is at, that's a just kind of thing, but it matters a lot, because there aren't going to be very many more events moving forward that you're going to be able to prove your worth to Valve moving forward.
Yeah, these next couple of weeks here is so big for these teams. 100% agree. So here we are in very developed in this draft, in fact, so let's go ahead and start talking about that. Obviously, Mouse Sports, they get the combo again. They lost the first game, but they still like the idea of the Wisp Ember Spirit. NiP, however, they changed it up slightly. They get the Lina again, but they go with a Monkey King first this time around. So what do we think about the draft so far?
In that previous series that they had played at the Mr. Cat Invitational, they had been heavily focusing Monkey King. I'm not 100% sure if Monkey King was banned out by Mouse Sports in the previous game, but NiP definitely know how to play this hero, and they like the flexibility that the hero provides. Last game, who did they first pick? I don't remember. Was it
10 seconds.
Magnus?
NiP? Yeah, it was Magnus.
On NiP. Okay, yeah. So Magnus wasn't banned out this time. Maybe they weren't expecting Mouse Sports to go for the same combination again, but Monkey King is still fine. It may affect what they go for their late game, even though, like, Anti-Mage was pretty much on autopilot that game. Like, you could have picked any carry, and it probably would have done just as well. But, yeah, we'll see how much energy NiP go into securing a good pick for Era, because that was definitely the deciding factor for game one. He just had free reign of the lane. Darkseer had gone straight into the jungle, wasn't like, I'm not even going to bother dealing with this whole Rubik's Slardar situation. And for the first few minutes, it looked a little bit, intimidating for Era, but he went a very sustain heavy build, and it worked out in the end. Now instead, Mousesports are going to seize the Magnus.
I was gonna say, I mean, NiP actually, if it wasn't for that happening, they could have picked Magnus, Rubik, which were their first 2 picks last game actually, and obviously worked out very well. But
That's
Magnus
true.
picked up and
replaced the Slardar with a Monkey King. Yeah.
There you are, still going to go the Rubik, though. So, and, I mean, you could argue Rubik's actually even more value here because the stealing the RP. He's definitely got potential to do that as long as he's not caught in it, which could be pretty big.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully Mousesports won't go for something like their Bane that they went for last time. This is definitely, like, I can see what they're going for with this strategy. There's a lot of team fight potential, and IO is, yet again, being able to bring heroes like Ember Spirit in. Last game, Ember Spirit had gone for that Veil first, but then went for a Blink Dagger afterwards, and so it wasn't necessary for the IO to be hanging out with the Ember, but instead bringing the Slark in, and these inherently mobile heroes are all able to find picks individually, and then while they're all scanning the map, IO can just kind of bring whichever one finally lands a target into the fight. So I don't really know if they're going to go for like a less... I feel like if you pick an IO, you should go for a hero that benefits a lot from IO capabilities, which they used it in the mid lane, and it kind of worked. And they're probably going to do the same thing here, but at least pick a carry that can take advantage of overcharge, like mid to late game.
Well, and I think we kind of saw that last game, right? That, Mousesports, we stressed that from the draft as a whole. It felt a little off in terms of having that IO presence with a specific hero. Most of the time he stuck with the Ember Spirit, but even with that, they tried several relocate ganks, and sure, a couple of them worked, but you got to figure if they maybe had that more traditional hero, so the Tiny or the Ursa, again, too, that definitely come to mind, would those have been better? Would those have even been more effective and more guaranteed? So, again, this final pick with that one position, definitely going to go back to being very interesting here. Ursa, still one that's no doubt on the mind. Wraith King ban going to happen from NiP. I also like how they basically traded offlaners here. You got Magnus now in Mousesports and Darkseer on NiP, so swapping things around from either side. But that's another thing, too. If you're the one position here for Mousesports, you also have to figure going up against the offlane Darkseer, that Ion Shell harassment, going to be annoying, and perhaps even Monkey King being down there too, so keep that in mind. Oh, they go Juggernaut. I almost feel like that's a bit of a takeaway too, because that could have been decent on Mousesports.
It's the safest pick. They had to show their carry first. Mousesports gets the final pick of the game, and so if you go for anything tricky, Mousesports might punish you for it. And so Juggernaut's a very, same thing that we were seeing in game one, a very self-sufficient core. You just leave Juggernaut to his own devices after giving him a pretty solid lane, and he's going to do just fine. And Mousesports instead go for a Lycan. So yet again, it's a hero that doesn't really benefit heavily from IO. I mean, like ultra late game, yes, you can go for some clowny relocate, take the Raxus through backdoor protection kind of shenanigans, but it's the early game that concerns me for Mousesports, because that's where they shine the most. That's where they made their name, and that's where they kind of faltered in game one.
I love seeing these Lycan picks lately, and I've stressed that as we kind of have been seeing them more and more since Kiev and now post-Kiev here. But again, one of my biggest things with seeing a Lycan is, one, I look out for, does he level up that Howl earlier on? Because I feel like that Howl is just such a strong ability, stupid strong ability even on a team with a Lycan. And in most of these games, we're just seeing constant fights earlier on, as we saw in the first game here, and wouldn't be surprised to see in game two. So we'll see if Mandara chooses to do that. But then kind of the downside, however, is they don't have that hero to really truly benefit from that Howl, unless Ember Spirit maybe does go for this right-click physical damage build, because you got Howl on top of a Magnus and Power. I mean, that is a lot of damage, but you would have almost liked to see maybe more of that right-click hero instead of the Ember Spirit being picked up. But, I mean, it's still going to be good damage overall for the team. Magnus and Lycan themselves are, of course, going to benefit from said abilities, but...
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I feel like all of these Mousesports picks are kind of like in a vacuum. Like they have like, it almost feels like they're like, it's like a too many cooks in the kitchen type situation, because no one clear strategy seems to prevail. They're like, oh, dude, what if we pick Io first? And it's like, yeah, I like that. Who are we going to pick with it? Ember. We'll give him a good mid lane. Okay, that's good. Who are we going to pick it as our carry, though? Oh, they have this Juggernaut. We need to pick something that can push. Let's go with Lycan. But you need all 5 of your heroes to coincide. And yeah, Howl synergy is definitely one of the biggest benefits of picking a Lycan these days, because these days heat split push thing isn't that big. Nowadays you go for the whole Armlet, Mask of Madness, Solar Crest business, but Juggernaut doesn't care about any of that. Juggernaut, sure, maybe he won't be able to Omni Slash that effectively, but he's just going to be able to get rid of your Solar Crest with his Blade Fury, and then, you know, that's a lot of Lycan's damage potential just cut.
Well, here we go. Game number 2. Again, Mousesports backs against the wall. Down 1-0. Elimination game here in the Summit 7 qualifier. So far, only one team has been eliminated. Cloud9 yesterday, unfortunately, even canceling or withdrawing from the event against Na'Vi in their elimination match. So Na'Vi advancing on and Cloud9 taken out as a result. So we're going to have another team here that is removed, though, and this one in the case of actually playing the games, which is nice. So shout out to these two teams.
Yeah, I didn't think Summit would fall victim to it. I mean, I wasn't surprised when I heard about Dream League Alliance dropping out, because, yeah, Dream League has repeatedly gotten the short end of the stick, and it's a damn shame because it's a great tournament, but it's this pre-TI crunch time. Even though all the schedules are established, doesn't matter. Yeah. There's always that X factor of, like, our team or our travel. There's so many things that go into play.
The battle begins.
All right, no contestant for the runes. It looks like the lanes are setting up to be as expected to. Phoenix gonna support the Lycan at the bottom. IL set up to support Ember in the middle lane, just like last game, and then of course Magnus at the top up there. Phoenix is another hero that we've been seeing picked up. In fact, NiP, they picked him up twice in one of the series that I casted them recently. I remember, obviously, both unfortunately being some losses there, but I know, again, at the Kiev Major, OG, for example, picked him up a fair amount, so another kind of hero that maybe is making a resurgence of sorts in competitive
Yeah,
Dota.
but I have more faith whenever OG picks it, not just because, like, Fly's a god, but also because their team helps the Phoenix out to be effective. Like, OG, their whole claim to fame is that their whole team just, like, works together so well with all their roles. Everyone's like, oh, Ana keeps losing mid, but, you know, the team still wins because they allow each of their players to work to their maximum efficiency. In this game, Phoenix is going to have such a hard time being able to get a successful Supernova off, because Blade Fury is just going to ignore Fire Spirit damage, and you can right-click the egg down mid-Blade Fury, and then Lina has like 1 billion attack range and Fiery Soul attack speed, so it's difficult for a Phoenix this game.
Yeah, it definitely could prove to be that way, so we'll see how that comes into play. And Magnus, meanwhile, is being run down by Insania right here as he's trying to steal the jungle even, but Insania's like, no, our jungle, get out. Swat him away right here. Middle lane, 2 versus 2. It's fun seeing this. In fact, not so fun for Mouse, though, as, oh my god, I almost died right there. That Boundless Strike damage, but not enough. So you see Monkey King getting the Boundless Strike level 1 with that said.
Yeah, that is interesting. I wouldn't have expected Jingu because, you know, it's kind of difficult to close the gap on an Ember who has Tether move speed bonus, but I'm surprised that he's not just, like, kind of trying to snipe the IO from the trees with the Primal Spring, but I guess if they're just constantly underneath their tower, Boundless Strike is the best option.
Madara does get the early Howl, so at least get a little bit of insight in terms of what he may be doing middle lane. I didn't think it was going to be enough damage, but Mickey goes in for that long-range auto attack and secures the kill onto Ember.
Regen rune for his troubles, so doesn't even need to spend any of that First Blood gold on regen. He's perfectly content. Still has even a shared tango if he needs it later on. So Monkey King's like, my work here is done. I hit level 2. You got First Blood. Enjoy the lane, Mickey.
I don't know exactly where Io was. Obviously, the shrine's still up, so I'm not exactly sure where.
I think he was. I saw him moving towards the shrine, and then I saw Ember die, and then I saw Io come back. So I'm not sure what he was doing either. But
that might have been the plan.
He was really low, so I understand why he left. But yeah, it's expensive.
Skylark is just lift it up and throw it in, but again, just more harassment coming out. So, but good start for NiP, especially on that Lina. See if he goes a similar build as he did last game. Again, the earlier Yules, even a Shadow Blade to come. Hani harassing the Phoenix quite a bit. Does get that tree dance next. So, yeah, staying away from the Jingu Mastery here as far as a passive. And see, I feel like we've seen a little bit of a NiP Hani playing the Monkey King, and he seems to pass up the passive for most of the time. And this Monkey King, he likes the mobility and the somewhat bursty damage instead. Or the up front, Hani, he's scouting out middle lane meanwhile.
Yeah, he sees Spartan. Howl's active for a little bit. And without Jingo, it's kind of difficult to get the kill on the IO. I mean, in general, it's difficult because IO hasn't spent Tether yet. And now, whoa, he just goes in on Thug.
Okay, that's something. Did he get stunned out?
Yeah, well played by Spartan. Basically, the tether ended, and so he broke the trees as he landed in the tether, and Thug almost survives out of that. Meanwhile, Trixie takes a little bit of sunray damage, but he's going to be fine.
Forced out right there, but yeah, clearly Monkey King trying to be active in the middle lane, helping to win this middle lane even further for Mickey. But I mean, CS-wise, it's actually very close. 19-4 Lina, you got 18-2 Ember Spirit, but of course that kill for Lina paying off quite a bit. Hastrun top, Hani's covering it. He wants to save it for the Lina. Doesn't have a bottle, but he's just going to pick it up instead. Bottle being delivered, I'm guessing? No, never mind. Oh yeah, there we go. He did bottle up.
I think he gave his bottle to Hani temporarily, but yeah, it's more useful on the Lina than it is a no Jingu Monkey King.
Oh, there we go. Soul Ring has been finished for Darkseer. He's level 4 here, so Trixie. Again, they kind of swapped the offlane heroes on either side, and Trixie seems like he's doing just fine himself. He didn't do the jungling from the start like we saw Skylark do on the other side, but has managed just well down here.
There's no real threat of, like, there are no real stuns on mouse sports aside from Searing Chains, and so no threat of a tri-lane, surprise killing a Darkseer. And Madara is actually going for an interesting build. He's completely skipping Wolves altogether, instead going for the Feral Impulse and the Howl, and it's because Darkseer provides a lot of damage, and your Wolves are pretty magic resistant, but the problem is you need to get last hits, and the Wolves can't really last hit early on by themselves. The hero needs to go in, and so with the bonus HP regen of Feral Impulse, you can kind of sustain, and now Madara has also picked up this Morbid Mask, so he's going to be just fine going up against this Darkseer one-on-one.
Yeah, I've actually seen this a couple of times lately. It's not the traditional, it's not like every game by any means, but I feel like this is kind of becoming a little bit more of the routine perhaps from what I've been witnessing, that, like I said, passing up the summoned Wolves. Of course, those, actually, Trixie could be in some trouble right here. That Howl-assisted damage definitely coming into play, but Trixie's searching on through.
Yeah, he dodges the Icarus dive. Probably wouldn't have been enough damage to kill him anyway, but just in case.
Very close right there. Monkey King, meanwhile, he's scouted out, actually, this huge stack right here. But he's currently
Trixie
at the top
comes in
lane.
the area. He can get a lot of experience off of this. He's level 5 right now, and Spartan might see him. Trixie has the mana for a Surge. If he puts a... Oh, they have this Dire Ward, so it's definitely seeing it. Yeah, Trixie's sapping all of this experience just out of Night Vision. And now Mike wants to follow up. Spartan?
Misses the LSA. Will it matter? Doesn't look
One
like
more.
it. He gets it. Hastrun helping, and now Mike, he's feeling the Hastrun power. He's diving quite a bit more, and he probably should be. He's taking a lot of tower damage, man. Yeah, he needs to be careful.
Yeah.
Fall back in
Thug
time,
isn't
though.
level 6 yet, though. So no Remnant threat, and they're going to go back to taking the stack. None of the big creeps died, so unfortunately Darkseer didn't get that much experience, but this ward placed early on by the Monkey King gave them all the information necessary to get that kill onto Spartan.
Yeah, 2-0 start, though, for NiP, but again, back to the Lycan build. Like I said, I personally do just like this idea. It's a mix of, it gives him his own individual farm potential. But that Howl buff for the team is good. Mickey, that Sunray's burning so much. The Icarus dive going to miss, though, and Mickey will manage to live. The Fairy Fire coming into play, as you said.
What a
Keeping
goddamn Fairy Fire. Keeping it 7 minutes into the game, what a player. They have this also aggressive Radiant Ward placed, and so Phoenix knew what was going on, but unfortunately it's a level 3 Phoenix. Actually opting out to max the Sunray, so that's another skill build that kind of seems to have fallen off. I know Fly definitely prefers max Fire Spirits, and it all goes down to how you want to play the game. But max Sunray against Darkseer is kind of tricky because, Surge is just kind of, ignores a lot of that, but maybe max Fire Spirits just fall off because of the aforementioned Blade Fury on Juggernaut, which we haven't really focused too much on, but yeah, Era is crushing the last hits right now, 62 and 11.
Well, you kind of wonder if that's maybe a sign of things to come, too, because the benefit of maxing out a Sunray, too, is it will assist for the heals in terms of pushing some lanes, perhaps. And they got the Lycan to also do good with that, so maybe that's an idea, again, that Mouse Sports is going to be looking to do. But Madara, he's going to be dying right here, very possibly. He does have Shapeshift, going to try to activate it, but again, that channel time of activating before he actually gets to use the move speed benefit is just too long. They drop him.
Yeah, now Shapeshift is going to be down for like 2 minutes as a result. Not that he would really need it. I doubt that. Well, I mean, maybe NiP might go for another kill once they've confirmed that Shapeshift is down, but that's an expensive cooldown, and it definitely means that he won't go aggressive for a while, let alone defensive. And now SSA Spartan kind of alone here. They know he's there, obviously, with the spirits, but they don't know where Phoenix is yet, and now in comes the TP from the Lycan.
Pinging him out, but yeah, they will fall back, so there's a 3 versus 3 down here, though. In fact, Madara, as I mentioned, no shapeshift. He does have Mask of Madness, but he's kind of just standing up here. Io is nearby, but it's not going to be enough. The Sunray also now coming through, doing plenty of damage. Monkey King, in fact, caught, and he will go down. So good bait, essentially, right there. But now Arrows here. He has an Omni Slash. Too many creeps nearby, though. More ports coming in, though, and actually NiP, yeah, they're probably going to want to fall back now. Unless, well, maybe not, because now Mickey's here. So everyone just showing up to the bottom lane, apparently.
Yeah, if Era had actually gone back for that Omni Slash, the Laguna Blade would have almost certainly finished off Madara, but maybe now?
Well,
or maybe
Magnus,
they'll just go for the supports.
Yeah, Magnus canceled his TP down here, and I think they might have picked up on that. So they know that they will not have to worry about him at least. And they're trying to find Madara, but he's doing a good job of hiding.
Monkey King.
They're going to ping him out right there. There we go. Now they find him. Era does have that Omni Slash. He's going to spin instead right on top. The Sunray coming through, but it's not going to be enough heal to keep the IO alive. Maybe Madara barely going to drive him, but there's the Omni Slash. Cuts through a couple. Gets a double tap in the end. Thug did get a couple of kills himself, though, onto Lena and to Rubik in the back lines. And sitting next to the tower. So at least something to be happy about for Mouse, but still a 3 for 2 in favor of NiP.
Yeah, 3 for 2, but Ember killed off the Lena, so that's a big benefit, and the whole time Skylark was farming, so he did cancel that TP, but at least he was able to make good use of the time and working his way closer and closer to that Blink Dagger, and there is a lot of teamfight potential, as we said, after seeing the first 3 picks of Mouse Sports Draft. RP, even though Blade Fury can deal with the egg very easily, if you start out stunned for a good 2.5 seconds, then it doesn't really matter how quickly you get over to the Supernova, it's going to pop anyway.
Bottom lane, Honey's kind of pushing it out, but Thug is sitting here now. Rubik is here as well. Going to be found, lifts him up in the air, and then just going to simply run. Rubik almost level 6, actually. Not there just yet, though, so nothing really coming of it. As the bottom lane goes. Juggernaut, and bring him a kilo, the phase boot, so actually has a Yasha being built here. Era continues to be the top farm in the game, but now Mickey again got distracted somewhat at the bottom lane, but back to the middle and doing just fine. 4,200 gold net worth. And this time he's actually going to go straight into the Shadow Blade, it looks like. Not even going to get a yields this time around.
That's surprising, because, again, it is the Ember matchup, so you can purge off the Flame Guard, but also Yules has a lot of utility against a Lycan, because you'll likely be able to start out with an LSA, because there's a lot of setup on your team. You've got Boundless Strike, you've got Telekinesis, you've got Vacuum. And then Yules burns off enough time that your LSA will likely come off cooldown while Lycan is shape-shifting around. So back in the day, Yules, like mass Yules used to be a strategy against Lycan. You just have like 3 Yules on your team, and Lycan may have max move speed, but it doesn't matter if you're constantly getting twisted. But he's going to go for the Shadow Blade first, possibly maybe just to be the initiator for his team, since he doesn't have those Blink Dagger initiators like last game where he had that Magnus and the Slardar. This game, he doesn't really have anyone like that.
That's true. Yeah, the setup not as easy here. And Darkseer Vacuum is pretty nice for setting up a beautiful LSA, but yeah, again, need that combo. And Darkseer doesn't even have the Blink Dagger, or won't be getting the Blink Dagger, I should say, at least for a little bit. It feels like here, of course, wants the mech at least first. And one of the few heroes that still gets that mech, it seems like, in terms of for the team. And it's an item that's definitely died off quite a bit, actually. For the most part.
I wouldn't be surprised if he completes into... Well, he may go for the pipe. There's a lot of magic damage on Mouse Sports, but yeah. Greaves will have a fair amount of benefit if you're able to get out of the Searing Chains, if Ember Spirit is targeting you, which, you know, Searing Chains is such a low cooldown, he can target everyone.
Yeah, Madara keeping an eye on the skill build here. He actually does put now 2 points into Summon Wolf, so he ended up maxing out the Feral Impo, sits on the 2 points of Howl, and actually gets a couple into the Summon Wolves. Likes the idea of being able to help those
relocate top lane, RP.
They use it. Darkseer's dead as a result, so well played there, and that's going to transition into a nice tower kill, ideally.
Yeah, they were just toying around. It was kind of like a gentleman's agreement between the Darkseer and the Magnus. They're like, all right, well, I know you have your Blink Dagger, I know you have RP, but you're not going to actually kill me, are you? And then Skylark is like, no, I'm not, but my Ember will. It's on the mid lane. Mickey, this Veil completed means that it's time to go.
At least he
Io,
takes
goodbye.
out Spartan with him right there, yeah. Playing that Io that chases up, though. Shapeshift from Lycan, obviously able to run him down. But now Era finds Thug, had an Omni Slash, using better of it, though. Not to commit right there. And so Ember Spirit will fall back safely. Madara, though, no Shapeshift. He needs to run, has Mask of Madness.
Trixie's going.
Yeah, they're really going in right here. Trixie chasing after, then the lift on up. The wall goes down, but not the greatest placement. Thug will run through it, though. But that's because he has support coming in. Here comes that Phoenix with the ulti activated. Just going to scare them off of anything. They did get the pick off on a Darkseer, and they pull back Trixie as well with the skewer. Trixie going to get picked off on the Darkseer, and Lina resurrecting, but that'll be the end of that fight right there. So, yeah, they really wanted to commit there.
I mean, hell, even if they did land the wall, I don't think that would have changed anything. They were fighting not only into a shrine, but it was a shrine that, you know, before that fight was ready to be used. It was not on cooldown, and they don't really have that much damage right now. This is just a Darkseer initiation, and sure, Madara had to use Shapeshift to kill the Lina, but oh, no, might be in trouble.
The first like look at the blade up in 1 second. He's gonna get it off. Yep, that's a kill. So good timing there. And Mickey gonna help push back the creep wave now in the middle lane. The tower is in deny range. Probably gonna look to do so. Take the catapult, and there we go. They're gonna keep it up for the time being.
Excellent.
So we'll see if that comes back to bite them in the ass. Like, you know, I feel like we see that from time to time. It's like, you know, you want to keep it up just to, if anything, bait. But yeah, Trixie is actually going to take care of it in the end.
Yeah, they were seeing how much damage they could get on the mid-tier 1. Once they figured out that the enemy mid-tier 1 was well protected, they were like, yeah, screw it, we'll deny ours. Meanwhile, Skylark has RP up. Wanted someone to go on Thug, but may have lost patience too early, as now Thug is getting some attention, but yeah, they're not going to be able to kill the Juggernaut.
Yeah, he's fine. He's going to hide there, and obviously Magnus makes his way out too, so let's put some pressure at the top lane. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Madara has that armlet finish now, so the Mask Commanded armlet good to go. He's definitely ready to fight if he wasn't already, but you may need to be ready to fight coming up right here. There we go, Wukong's command going to be activated, lift him up right in the midst of it. Shapeshift the RP though in return, coming up from Skylark. Insania steals the RP though, puts it right back in their face. The wall goes down, and down goes Madara as well as the Magnus right there, being played by Skylark. Phoenix from a distance, just realizing that he did all he could, but what a play by Insania. Stealing the RP and putting it right back at them.
That could not have gone any better. Trixie was just vacuuming just to kill off the Lycan. They didn't know that Magnus was in the vicinity, and Magnus blinked in, was like, oh, sweet, I see 3 heroes. It was the split second that the vacuum came off, so that little bit of time, oh, relocate. You're not going to find Trixie, though. He's surged way the hell out. Unless if Ember gets the Remnant. He has 2 Remnants. 1, 2.
Lift.
Telekinesis.
Push. Now, Era coming in. Ooh,
wow.
They relocate out just in time. That timing, though, was perfect. So, nice counterplay, at least.
They get a little bit of return, but still, not only did you have to spend RP, but you didn't get any kills out of it initially during that fight. And now, NiP look pretty primed to fight. They don't have Wukong's command for another minute, but we've got a level 12 Omni Slash on Era, and he's itching to use it on someone.
RP is going to come back up in 50 seconds for Insania, as is Magnus, just about the same timing, remember. So, again, that could be pretty key. Now, the difference is Magnus does have a blink, whereas Rubik is not going to have one for a while. He's sitting on brown boots and a magic stick, so not as powerful. But as we've talked about it several times before, I mean, the interesting thing with Rubik, though, when he steals, again, that animation isn't as, or it's not relevant at all, in fact. It's instant cast, so there's a slight advantage there.
Yeah, especially if there's a very small window after Darkseer gets a vacuum, then every split second counts. So we'll see if they can do anything with the stolen RP. Chances are slim. I imagine that Mousesports are probably going to be avoiding fights for a little bit, at least until Thug completes another item. He's got 2k gold in the bank. Might go for the Blink Dagger, as that's what he went for last game. But yeah, they'll be chilling as Mike is prowling around with his Shadow Blade.
Yeah.
Wants to find something, but a little too late.
Well, he sees the Remnant still here, though, and yeah, he comes back in. Dust goes out immediately.
That was pretty smart, but yeah, Mike, it's 4D chess going on here, because now Mike is now in position. His Shadow Blade is up, has a double damage rune.
Is it enough? He had put the Flame Guard up. It's not enough because the RP comes out of return. Thug is very low, though. Here comes the supporting cast. Spartan ports in, and it is going to be enough to turn actually onto the Lina right there. Yeah, Madara being relocated. He's going to pop that Shapeshift running down. They did lose Ember Spirit in the back lines, but Insania will end up falling himself. Haughty puts out that boundless strike, just simply trying to get away, but he's being trapped into a corner, unfortunately, so no chance for him. Era, he just gets there late, and by the time he is, it's already a lost cause, so ended up working
he
out
had to
for
spend the
mouz.
Omni Slash on killing off the Ember Spirit, so he's not going to be able to get any return kills. I'm surprised that he's still standing around contesting this. They still have Supernova if they want to use it.
Well, they do have Darkseer porting in, though. He has his wall combo, actually. Vacuum wall. There we go. Going to go off right on top of the spin. Plenty of damage to gear for, though. And there's that Supernova, as you mentioned. Trixie has to run away. Era's going for the kill on it. Can he get it? Yes, he can. He picks it off. Good commitment from Era there in the
Darkseer.
end. Spartan coming back in. Wants to kill on to Trixie. The orbs, maybe. It's just out of range. And now Era's going to run down Spartan right here. But the Wolves are actually running down Era themselves. And Spartan has to bring them back in. Maybe leech to somebody. Leash even. It's not going to happen. Spartan will go down, so pretty chaotic fight here at the top lane ends up happening. Got a couple of kills at the end of it for NiP, so I don't know who really came out on top in the end. I mean, Eric gets a couple of kills throughout it, so he has a Manta style now.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that Mousesports felt confident sticking around after that RP was spent. Yeah, they did have Supernova, but Darkseer TPing in got that Vac wall off successfully, and I mean, Era, even though he doesn't have Omni Slash up and running, he still deals a lot of damage. He's #1 net worth after that fight, but he was almost certainly near that spot before that fight, and they get a little bit punished for it. But they deal a little bit of damage to the top tier 2, and Lycan's whole thing is taking towers, even though he's pretty good at fights. The name of the game is objective-based Dota.
Yes, that Empower being applied, of course, level 4 here of Magnus, so they go for a smoke up nearby. Now, Era's in the vicinity. He's not careful here, but he's going to get some teammate support. Trixie comes in with that mech. Blink Dagger's queued up for the Darkseer, by the way. 800 gold saved up currently, so it's 2250, of course. Monkey King, a medallion on him. The Solar Crest actually just about finished, too. So going to be a nice beneficial item to have here. Bottom lane. Oh, the RP missed. He actually did commit to it right there. Try to get Trixie. He evades it, though. And now Trixie going back in with that surge. Has the vacuum wall. Has support coming in as well. This could be dangerous for mouz to fight into this. The wall goes down. Here we go with Insanio with the assistance. He actually steals some power buff than anything. But Darkseer will go down throughout this. Now Era's trying to find an Omni Slash target. He goes it. Uses it actually. Madara takes a good chunk of the damage. Supernova in the backline zone. Mickey, he needs to run though. He used to play not enough for the kill though initially. Being run down by the shapeshift, but he's going to stay out of range. And now Madara gets turned on the Supernova. Does go off in the back lines, but Era actually has to spin out. Barely alive. The Blade Fear keeping him alive. I know Skylark finishes the job, but here comes the Wukong's command. And back coming is NiP, but maybe next time we'll Icarus dive out, and that should be the end of this exchange here. Beneficial for Mousesports.
Skylark, he has a TP. Both teams are waiting for something. But it's difficult to find initiation now that you don't have Blink. They have Skewer, but you know, Skylark's going to back out.
And that'll be the
Again,
end.
a relatively even trade, but Darkseer is a more valuable kill than the IO, and so Mousesports come a little bit out on top. But yeah, I'm surprised that the Monkey King went for the Solar Crest this early on. Like, we all know Solar Crest is amazing, sure, but a Basher early on would be so valuable. Like, he didn't even go for the Midas either. It's just straight up Solar Crest, and so he's still a long ways away from the Basher. And you see this Mousesports team, they would get destroyed by Basher.
Oh yeah.
Lycan, he's great when he's able to, you know, toy around with the fight and go around at max move speed, but if you're stuck inside of Wukong's command, you're not going to be able to do anything. Same thing with Io. You need to be close quarters with your ally, but if you're getting bashed to Kingdom Come, then you need to stay way the hell away. And same thing with Phoenix as well. You want to Icarus dive into the meat of the fight, but you're risking getting slapped by one of these Wukongs.
Yeah, it's not often a position 4 hero that is Monkey King is, you know, we really talk about how that's such a key item to winning a game. Outside of maybe like a Blink Dagger on a lot of these 4 position heroes, sure, but it's good to have. But yeah, Basher on Monkey King, it is so crucial. 100% agree with you. It'd be so good for locking down this Radiant side in these fights. So we'll see if he goes for it next, or maybe if he does to go for it later on Hannah Midas. Everybody doesn't even have that yet, but it's going to be a key timing for NiP to pick that up. They're going to need to take a Roshan fight right here. They want to at least. Mickey poking in. Trixie has his combo ready. Madara sitting on Roshan, slowly dwindling away at it. Arrow stretching in, though. There we go. The vacuum wall combo hits 3. Supernova comes out in response. He's being spun on, though. The RP to lock down Juggernaut, but he's still spinning throughout this. They do a lot of physical damage. Is it enough, though? It absolutely is. Phoenix does end up going down, but they get the kill on Juggernaut as well as Darkseer. And the run out from NiP. It's not going to be enough for Monkey King. He gets caught. Mickey's also in trouble. Goes for the turn maybe onto Madara, but he still needs to run. The dust comes out to spot him, though. They're going to chase him down eventually, and he's good. Poured out, meanwhile, to relocate for Lycan, and he goes right back in to the Roshan pit. They're still chasing Insania, by the way. He did steal RP there. but it's not enough, and he's going to go for the TP out and actually will survive with it. So good job, but ultimately a 1-5 for mouz. They get the Roshan, they get the Aegis onto Lycan.
Skylark was holding onto his RP for the perfect time. Immediately, the Phoenix, maybe next time, had gone for the Supernova, and Juggernaut was like, alright, I will use Blade Fury, that'll half kill the IO with the magic damage, and then in the meantime, I'm just going to slice down your Supernova. And right when they were super close to, or right when the Juggernaut solo was super close to finishing it off, in comes the RP. And then Darkseer is like, well, I need to finish what you started on this egg. They go in and they eventually finish off the egg, but now Darkseer and Juggernaut are in a very awkward position, and Lycan just started tearing into the Lina on the backline. So really well played by mousesports to space out their ultimates like that, because sometimes in a team fight, you're like, let's just throw everything at the same time, but there's a lot to be said for staggering out like this and forcing the enemy team into weird positions.
I'm also looking at Lina's build. Not only the item build a bit different with the early Shadow Blade here, but he is actually going to 50 damage on top of that instead of the respawn time, as we mentioned last game. So Mickey kind of changing it up from game to game. Again, last game you could argue, though, had the anti-mage just scaling like crazy, whereas this time maybe figures they need a little bit more of that right-click presence. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Unfortunately for him, he is going to get caught, though, and he'll die there. So Darkseer a little bit closer now to that Blink Dagger. It's 1,500 plus, but yeah, making the 50 plus damage. What do you think of it?
I think the concern is that Lycan is getting very, very large. The dude has 2.5k HP, and he loses a little bit of armor with his Mask of Madness, so he doesn't have that much armor, and as a result, right-click damage can do a lot. Juggernaut has bigger fish to fry. He needs to worry about the Supernova. He wants to kill off the IO to prevent any relocates. Someone needs to be going toe-to-toe with the Lycan, and it's difficult for Juggernaut to do that as now.
Big opening.
Man.
They're going to get Magnus right here. They
Stolen
RP
RP.
him. Yeah, that's from earlier, and just to guarantee it. They did not want to get RP'd themselves,
Madara.
but Madara's running in, baby. Here goes the relocate as well, and Insania is going to be picked off. That new BKB toy of his. He's showing it off. So far, a 1-for-1. Hani, he needs to get out of this some way, somehow. Meanwhile, in the backline, the Supernova going off, but actually is killed throughout it, so 2-for-1 right now for NiP.
BK doesn't have his Shadow Blade. He's dead. Suicide.
Denies himself. He just got that Bloodstone, too. Another case of you just get it and you die with it. That feels so bad, man. But yeah,
I'm really surprised that they went for that stolen RP on Magnus, because it's almost certain that you're going to get retro. Oh.
This is interesting, because they asked for a pause while Thug's being run down dying. What?
Well, he has a gem. So
Interesting.
interesting. He does not have any remnants either.
No, I think he is. I mean, they have Omni Slash too, like if he really wants to secure it.
Oh,
Vacuum's
you really
ready.
want to secure this one?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah, I'm just they do have Vacuum Wall too, so it's like which of those do they maybe use here to guarantee it? But because Omni Slash is a little scary because it could bounce to the creeps over here. And then
G1 ready. I don't think Thug's ever going to be ready for this. Although IO, yeah, he just links up the Lycan, so yeah, it's a dead ember. It's a something gem. Already Trixie has a slot available. Oh.
Gosh, the slide, the spin on top. Port's coming in. The wall goes down, though, with a vacuum. They get the kill. Now Spartan also going to fall. Trixie is low himself, but now Madara actually has to be careful, although he's going toe-to-toe with Era. So Era having to back off for the time being, but Mickey's back. He doesn't have a Laguna play, but it might not matter. In comes the Dragon Slave, and they take out the Aegis at least. Will they follow this up? Laguna Blade up in 10 seconds. Does he have a BKB? It's not up, actually, just yet. The Omni Slash going to be committed. He pops the shape, just trying to run it out of here. Flipping up the RP. Comes in return, but Madara does fall. But the RP on top of the Sunrise, melting away. The NiP dreams right here. And down goes Lina. Gem has dropped. They lose the Lycan, but boy, oh boy, was that a huge wombo combo.
Skylark, where's the all chat? Where's that level whatever 300 battle pass audio sound? I need that right now because that was a disaster. I can't believe that Skylark was able to, like, initially it was almost the reverse tactical pause because there's no way that Lycan and Io would be like, yo, let's TP on our mid tier 1 even though we're farming the Ancients. They saw that the Ember Spirit was dead to rights and they're like, okay, we can probably turn this around. And initially it was not going their way at all. And they were getting wall comboed heavily, but then Skylark comes in, didn't even really need the Lycan to help out, just solo and power plus the Sunrise, so much damage in such a short little burst of time, and NiP get obliterated.
Yeah, and I'm not for sure. I'd have to see back there, but you know, on top of that, you also got to wonder if the Howl was used right before death, so maybe that was even having an effect on Magnus as far as that damage output. So, but yeah, just so much enhanced damage. Beautiful, beautiful wombo there And Mouse Sports, another decisive fight for them coming up. But this is definitely just continuing to be a very chaotic game overall. I mean, it does seem like that Mouse Sports is ahead throughout most of it. In fact, yeah, you see the net worth charts. It's definitely in their favor. But, I mean, NiP, they most certainly have chances here. And, you know, they got great pickoff potential with that Lina still, despite being on 6 charges now with the Bloodstone. So that I don't know, man. I've been seeing so many Bloodstones lately that just constantly lose more and more charges in game, it feels like. So, oh, bottom lane, Dark's here. He's dead. They just run him down, actually.
Oh, yeah. Didn't even need relocate for that. He's definitely going to be needing Greaves soon. And, oh, yeah, he has it queued up, so that does not surprise me in the slightest. Time and time again, we're seeing him getting forcefully kited by the searing chains, and if you go for a blink dagger, you don't want to have to deal with that, so he goes down. It's going to be a tier 1.
Nice skewer through. They saw him hopping around the trees. He skewers the trees, and thus he gets stunned on Monkey King, and Hani's picked off. And, you know, I kind of was shaking my head a little bit right before that, too, at Hani, because he has a Diffusal Blade queued up, and, you know, Basher's just so strong. Like, why would you not get it?
Don't know. Really, the only thing worth purging is the Flame Guard, and at that point, like, Lina's going right click. You don't care about. Oh, Skylark gets spotted out by
have
Sentry
a purge on top of that, but yeah, they are going to find Skylark. But here comes the relocate once again. Insania going to be picked on the spin, maybe to kill Magnus, but now Era, it's going to come at a massive cost, including his life. He is going to fall in return, and it does seem like it's kind of slipping away from NiP now, ever since that big counter RP in the middle lane a couple of minutes ago.
I don't really know what the plan is for the Diffusal Blade, because even, like, it's not that useful. Like, already, oh, Phoenix dies while denying a tower. Mike was waiting in the shadows, sniped him out. Gets 1 charge back on the Bloodstone. But, yeah, like, Juggernaut already went for a Diffusal Blade. Why do they love these Diffusal Blades so much? You're not going to slow down Madara, because he's going to be, you know, going at max speed. I believe you can purge off Howl, but I'm actually not 100% sure about that. But even that doesn't really matter, because these are all like auxiliary things that, okay, well, this is a bonus to Diffusal Blade. It shouldn't be the main reason. Is now Monkey King.
Yeah, he's going to be jumped here. Now the wall combo comes out with the vacuum from Trixie, so if anything to deter them, but definitely not setting up for kills themselves. Lift on a Madara, but he doesn't really care. Goes back in. He's going to start falling back now. Shapeshifter is going to be wearing off. He does have his 8-second, or 9-second still BKB even, but yeah, going to back off. They know resurrections are happening, so not going to risk it. They feel in a comfortable spot, as they should. And so they're going to fall back, get more resources. In fact, Lycan has a MKB in the works, actually.
Yeah, he wants to deal with this Monkey King Solar Crest, and almost certainly Arrow will be going for a Butterfly eventually. But I don't know. These item choices by Hani are suspect, because I feel like the game would be a lot easier if he had a Basher. They're not getting that many Wukong commands off, but, I mean, even whenever they do come off, they can dictate where the fight goes, because Lycan is the one who's chasing people around. If you all stand around inside of a Wukong's command, you can take care of a Supernova pretty easily. Yeah, you're kind of setting up for an RP, but, you know, the Wukong's command AoE is huge, and who knows, maybe Magnus will blink into the Wukong and get first hit bashed. So it's a lot of, you know, what ifs, but you should go for that what if you're the Monkey King.
Yeah, he's going through it, but there's the plate mail picked up, so he's going much more defensive route, going the Lotus Orb here. At least what he has queued up currently. So, yeah, they're not going to have that benefit necessarily of that Basher here. Bottom lane, though.
Lycan.
Now, this is interesting because actually the Wolves were stolen by Insania, so he's been kind of using them to scout for themselves, and they do spot Io in the back lines. Mickey will get the kill. See the Icarus die, but now Madara's caught out. Pops the BKB and Shapeshift. He wants to go in, though. He's looking to make some kills happen. Mickey's like, all right, I'm dead. He just kills himself there. And this is going to be a turn for Mousesports now. RP, yep, he gets off, and 2 are caught. And 2 are dead shortly after. That Empower buff especially, so much damage. And what was a beautiful pickoff initially ends up being a complete backfire for NiP.
Yeah, it was really smart to go in for that IO once you spotted him out with Stolen Wolves, as you said, but, like, Wukong's command wasn't used during that, and Hani had all... Like, I feel like I'm railing against him too much, but, like, the ult wasn't used at all by Monkey King, and it was basically a lone Lycan at that point. The Phoenix was coming in eventually, but, like, it was a long ways away. But Madara was able to successfully BKB, didn't even need to finish off the Lina because Lina knew she was dead, and now they're going to take a tier 3.
Going in pretty far, Thug. He's not afraid. Nice sleight of fist to disjoint the Q there, the balance strike from Monkey King, and that should be a melee Rax LA shapeshift. Going to be activated again from Lycan. Again, still has that 8-second now. BKB if need be. Gets the melee Rax. Not going to go back in for the range, perhaps. Nah, he's satisfied with just the melee. Lena's caught. Think of that. She's sneaking on in. There goes a BKB 2 hits later. She's nearly dead. The third will to her in. So down goes Lena, buys back immediately. Meanwhile, Lena gets picked off. Supernova did go off in the back lines. Arrow was spinning, but now he's in a bad spot himself. Omni Slash is not up, or it is up actually. He pops his shrine, trying to live, and there's a buyback galore now on the side of NiP. If you're Mouse, you got to be a little careful about this of diving so much. There's the Omni Slash, and Madara, it's all on him, baby. He's going to get taken out, actually. He's dead for 80 seconds, and maybe catch Magnus. No, he blinks away initially, and he's on the run. Diffusal Blade is back up for Juggernaut, but he's invis. I don't think they're going to find him here.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah, Shadow Blade away.
Scan doesn't connect either, and Skylark gets away with the gem. A little bit overextended by Mousesports, but you're not really too unhappy with how that went. You got 2 buybacks out, you took the melee rack successfully, and you almost took the range racks. I'm sure Lycan Wolves will probably finish that off at some other point, but yeah, it's not too bad. You basically just lost to Lycan, and that's because you never went for Roche. If they had gone for the Aegis, then it would have been easy, but they figured we got a Lena pick, now is the time to go, and it works out very well. Mousesports are comfortably in the lead now, 16k net worth advantage. The only issue is that BKB timing for Lycan is kind of whittling down. It's down to 7 seconds now, which is still pretty good, seeing as how early he got it and how frequently he's been using it. But that's really the only thing that Mousesports need to be concerned about, is everything else is going exceptional. Maybe next time, got that 150 GPM talent on the Phoenix, is level 20 right now, completed the Shivas after that Midas, and so, yeah, Mousesports, they're going to go for this Roche. Probably not, like, they'll wait. The bot lane's going to push. They know that NiP have a pretty garbage team to doing it. Like, you have Solar Crest, Monkey King, and Juggernaut, but you can't go into the pit without fearing the RP, and time again, Skylark is proving to get amazing RPs.
God, focusing on Phoenix, but going back to that real quickly, it's just, yeah, looking at that talent tree, man, the 150 gold per minute at level 15,
oh, yeah.
That has to be one of the bigger reasons why this hero's perhaps picked up as a support, because, like, there's no other support that comes to mind that has a talent like that, at least at level 15, so definitely very beneficial, and as you're talking about that with the Hand of Midas already with the Shivas, and the Axe is now even queued up as an extra saving tool, but the RP in the back of Skylark once again coming through, and you just hear the sound going off of the death animations of NiP across the board. 3 are dead. Beautiful searing chance of the slide of fist. Down goes Lina, and this could be the beginning of the end in favor of Mousesports, forcing a third and final game. Ultra kill coming out from Adara. They're all dead and staying dead. 100% free Roshan if they want it. Maybe just going to go right for the base. It looks like that's going to be the cue here.
They know 2 buybacks are down, the Monkey King and the Lena, so why even bother? Who's going to kill you? Juggernaut could theoretically have buyback, but doesn't have it because instead Arrow opted to complete out that Mjolnir, which is understandable, but that's pretty much a game. At this point, NiP are just thinking about what happens next.
Yeah. Talking it over, I'm sure, but that's it. There we go. GG, well played. They were going for tier 4 anyways. Oh, Skylark missed the RP. No.
What? 0 heroes!
Oh my god, what was he thinking?
Yet anyway.
Alright, well played.
That's what I wanted, Hani. That's what I wanted. Except not on your team. I wanted you to do it when you were winning.
It would have been funny if Hani did that after they got RP'd.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I gotta respect that play right there.
Which I don't actually know. I think it was Lycan Wolves getting vision, because I looked and there were no wards up on that shrine area for Skylark. Either that or it was just a godlike intuition getting 3 heroes like that. But yeah, this was, I'm learning that Magnus seems to be the hero of the series.
Yeah, he is 2-0 so far in this series, and obviously recent history suggests that that's not too surprising. That's a very powerful hero indeed, and Mousesports takes advantage of it this time around. So will it be banned in game number 3? That's going to be the key here to look out for sure, amongst a couple other things. But yeah, it's a case of Mousesports, though. Again, they just started getting ahead, and clearly a couple of big RPs and too much for NiP to handle. So we got a game 3, though, ladies and gentlemen, on our hands here for the Summit 7 European qualifiers. NiP versus Mousesports. Who's going to take it? Who's going to stay alive to play Pro Dota? And who will fall here and be eliminated from the qualifiers? Well, we're going to find out next. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Tsunami. Stay tuned, guys. Game number 3 coming up.